Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we're here with you for some tea.
For some tea, look, I brought my tea set for you because I imagined you didn't own a tea set.
No,
so
I do not.
let us pour a glass here and try not to spill it all over my pants because it's hot. Because we are doing a tea tag. We were tagged by literary gladiators. Holy
You were
shit, that's
spilling
hot.
that everywhere. Don't get it on me. No.
Well, excuse me. We were tagged by literary
Pour it over the table.
literary gladiators, weren't we?
Yes.
And this is Amy's tea tag.
I believe so.
And we are going to be having some ginseng green tea. Ow. And we're going to be talking about books.
Look at you. You're going to have to get out of those pants.
Okay. Tea number one.
T1.
A double Bergamot Earl Grey. Now this is a robust, deep, intellectual, flavorful book. Adrian?
Fight Club. Why are you laughing?
It just amused me, I'm sorry.
For which we will have a review next week.
Yes, we will.
I don't know what to say about Fight Club except that every time I read it, it changes my life and makes me want to quit my job.
Fair enough.
I think that's robust enough, right? Wait till you hear some of the intelligence in here. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a quote for you real quick. Something I highlighted, which is difficult because if I were truly highlighting Fight Club, I'd never pick up my pen, or my highlighter, I guess it is. You know what? I'm not going to be able to find anything. What's yours?
I cheated.
What do you mean you cheated?
Earl Grey. Everybody has Earl Grey. Earl Grey is generic. I don't know what a double Bergamot is.
I don't either. I was going with the tag.
But Earl Grey. Literature. A portable anthology. This is robust, deep, and intellectual.
I almost went with the exact same book.
The exact.
I
Oh,
have the exact same. That's from a Roberts class.
this is from Robert's
That is
class.
from an 8 a.m. Roberts class.
I mean, you've got Poe, James Joyce, Willa Cather. This is just loaded. This would be worth it. And look at all those little notes. Look at
You
that.
didn't read those.
No, I didn't. I just put sticky notes in there, so they assumed I did. Number two, Tim Hortons Steep. Do you know what Tim Hortons is?
No.
Really?
No.
We may be treading on dangerous grounds here because I think Tim Hortons is like a Canadian national treasure. It's a donut shop. It's like a Quick Trip that sells donuts, kind of.
Okay.
But they love it.
I'm for it.
So this is like Tim Hortons gas station coffee.
Okay.
All right.
I'm hoping you're right about that, or we just insulted.
We insulted like 90% of Canada, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this is a book
Are you there, Canada? It's us. Cover lit.
This is a book you read on the go, and you've come back to time and time again.
Wait, which is this?
Tim Hortons.
What's the next one?
The Meyer Lemon, a tangy and fast-paced read.
Okay,
You're mixed up.
I am.
You're mixed up.
It doesn't matter.
I'll give you a second to sort it out because my Tim Hortons Steep is Looking for Alaska by John Green, which you can definitely view because this was our week's review. This is a book that you can read on the go. This is a book that you come back to again and again. You're welcome. I almost brought the Dogs of Babel.
Mine is The Best Poems of the English Language by Harold Bloom. I skipped a line. That's what I did in my notes. Like I said in one of our 6 things lists, I've tried so many times to read this cover to cover. Can't do it. It is everything that was ever written and anyone ever thought was good. So there's no real downside to it. You just pick it up, pick a page, and you go and you learn something.
Fair enough. The Meyer Lemon. Now this is a tangy, fast-paced read.
Tangy.
Gone before you've fully savored the flavor. What do you got? What are you thinking?
You Get So Alone at Times That It Just Makes Sense by Charles Bukowski. It's
a beautiful title, actually.
Yeah. This entire collection of poetry took me, I think, 12 minutes to read. And it's because I realized that I wasn't reading it, I was writing it.
Oh.
This is the story of my life.
Fair enough. I brought a play, because what's more fast-paced than a play? Agnes of God.
You haven't read that.
Yes, I have. Have you ever read this?
I have not.
This is actually one of my favorite plays. You would actually greatly appreciate this. This is a cast of 3 women. There is a nun who is pregnant due to alleged immaculate conception. The mother superior of the convent, and a psychologist trying to prove them both wrong. And they find atheism along the way.
Oh!
So, this is wonderful. One of my favorite plays. Would love to perform it, but unfortunately, I am not a woman. So.
Leave it on the dresser.
Actually, I might. You would actually really like it. Number 4, Chamomile Lavender. This is a relaxing, calm, late-night read. Did you bring porn?
Don't ruin it! No. The Complete Poems of Emily Dickinson.
Oh, my tea just got a bad taste. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Very close to pornography. You sit down with Emily Dickinson, and life is depressingly good.
I actually, when it said late night read, I just pulled what I have been reading in bed at night. Babel No More. This is from my most recent book haul. Search for World's Most Extraordinary Language Learners. That's about as much thought as I put into that one, so there you go. Lady Grey.
I love it when you get excited.
I know. This is a smooth, subtle classic, perfect for a serene winter morning. How's your classics look?
A Farewell to Arms.
Farewell to Arms.
Which somehow I lost my copy of, but I read it in the winter.
We have to stop doing book 2.
Why?
I was going to bring A Farewell to Arms. This is our second matchup on this list already.
Looks like we're just besties.
But I didn't because serene winter morning. I'm thinking peaceful, not Hemingway's killing everyone.
That's not what that one was, though.
It took place in the war.
Well, it did not. It took place in a hospital.
Okay, excuse me.
Okay.
But I associate that with you battle-hardy. Anyway, carry on. You explain it.
I honestly, it's about as much thought as you put into class. I always associate that novel with winter because I read it during the winter, and I couldn't put it down. And there were so many parts of the novel that I went back and reread that it took me so long to finish. So that entire winter is marked for me with A Farewell to Arms.
Well, again, I just assumed that would be the opposite of serene, too much war, too much whatever. So I picked SlaughterhouseFive because it's a smooth, subtle classic.
It is a strange type of serene, though.
It is.
It's about becoming.
It is.
What is it? Unglued from time?
I think so. Unhinged, maybe. But
I think it's unglued from time. I can't remember right now.
Let me just plug that right there. But it's smooth. It's subtle. I can go back and read this.
I don't know that it's subtle. It's clearly tangy, is it not?
I enjoy it. Like it.
Well, I mean,
okay.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to put that. Orange Pekoe.
Orange Pekoe.
This is a popular novel that everyone's read.
Pekoe.
I'm kind of curious as to what you think everyone's read. So
I was actually going through a Peter Gabriel song right there, but
well, excuse me.
The Great Gatsby.
Okay,
everyone's
all right.
read The Great
Fair
Gatsby.
enough.
You've had to read The Great Gatsby. Ironically, I didn't read The Great Gatsby until after the 3rd time I was supposed to read Great Gatsby. I was supposed to read it in high school, in community college, and then in one of our literature classes at Missouri Western. I didn't read it any of those 3 times. I read it over a winter break.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I have, because I had to bring this for you anyway, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the first Harry Potter book that we will be reviewing shortly. Popular novel. Everyone's read it. And you're going to be reading it soon.
You know, it's not that intimidating. I thought it was bigger.
It is actually one of the shorter ones.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
And yeah. So anyway, that's
What
for
we
you.
got next?
We have English Breakfast, a British classic, Brit-lit.
Brit-lit. Let me bring you a poem by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. That's obviously just the first stanza, but I really like that one. I didn't read that one until we were working on our bachelor's degree, and it changed for me. It changed for me what poetry was and what the rhythm of poetry could do.
Okay. I plug this one a lot, but for my British classic, Lord of the Rings. Easy as that. A classic of the fantasy genre. Some will argue not a classic, but I'm going to disagree. This defined the fantasy genre. This is British full folds. The man describes leaves for 30 pages on end, and you can't stand it. It's British.
Okay, so defining a genre makes something a classic?
I don't know. I'm afraid to say yes, because I feel like I'm walking into a trap. Why?
Well, I was just asking, there's that Edgar Allan Poe story about, what is it? Detective work. Does that become a classic because of that?
Possibly.
Because it defined the detective genre?
Possibly.
The mystery genre? What about Twilight?
Oh, no. Did that define the young adult genre, really?
No,
And
it defined sparkling vampires.
It's got to be considered a classic. You know that, right?
That's one of the questions I often ask myself.
We can fight it all we want, but once we are dead and gone, it will be.
Because that will be one of the remnants of our age, will it not?
Yes, it will.
People will look around to the trash that North America had become after its fall, and they'll find billions upon billions of stacks of Twilight, and say this is what defined these people. They worshipped sparkly vampires, and
As soon as I saw Brit Lit, I'm like, Jane Austen. But I couldn't, wholeheartedly bring in Jane Austen, so Lord of the Rings it was. Anyway.
okay.
Canadian breakfast, which again hints to we may have insulted Canada with our Tim Hortons comment. A title that tastes a little like English breakfast, but reads like the New World. So we're thinking American lit.
I am
Canadian.
early American or Canadian, right?
Yeah, I think
I am
so.
not sure if I am going completely against the grain and breaking all of the rules, or following them so closely that it becomes the only necessary answer for this. But I'm going with Call of the Wild by Jack
Okay.
London. It takes place in Alaska-ish. Was Jack London English?
I think he was.
But then did he move to the Americas? I know he was a drunk. So like I say, I haven't looked into London as much as I should have, considering a lot of the biographies of writers that I know. But that is either the perfect answer or one that will get me crucified.
Fair enough. I thought to myself, what tastes like New World? Tastes so much like New World, I couldn't stomach it. End of discussion. Chuck Haunted. Chuck Palahniuk. Palahniuk.
Chuck Haunted.
Chuck Haunted.
So it tastes
Not
so
a bad
much
name.
like New World that you pass out in an airport trying to get away.
Ironically enough, in the old world. It's perfect. Green, because we're drinking green tea. A healthy book that feeds your mind. Fuels your mind. Feeds your mind. I can't read my own handwriting.
Feeds, fuels, sort of the same thing. Waking Up by Sam Harris. I was attracted to this book because of both who Sam Harris is, what Sam Harris does, and because of the fact that I am always looking for ways to bring outside knowledge into my writer's world. And he talks about making meditation and the meditative state non-spiritual, or bringing spirituality into the secular world, making meditation non-religious.
Okay.
And if you are a writer and you've ever been in the zone, that is very much what the meditative state seems like to me. So if I can figure it out and find some way to sit down and tap into that in the zone.
You got it made.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
At least for as shitty as my writing is.
I chose Eating Animals. Now, this is one I read on my Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy. This is short stone's throw away from PETA propaganda. but it does delve into the concept of eating meat for nutrition. It's a big one in the vegetarian community, the vegan community.
Is this fiction or is this?
This is nonfiction.
This is
actually.
nonfiction.
But when it said green, healthy, good for your mind, that's immediately what I thought.
Well, I just didn't know if it was propagandistic in the way that fiction can be, or
no, it is nonfiction, and I was a vegetarian for a while. This was one of the books I read at that time. All right, finally, last one. Iced tea.
Iced tea.
Which I'm a fan of.
Big fan.
A sweet summer book brewed for the lazy days of summer. I don't know what it looks like. I wrote lazy brick days of summer.
Lazy brief days?
Brief days of
Can't be brief days of summer.
That's what it said.
Summer's longer. Summer days are longer.
Apparently, these are lazy brief days. What's your iced tea?
Quick question. Sweet tea or just iced tea?
There is a big difference there, and maybe that's just because we're in the Midwest, that southern sweet tea thought process.
Trickles up a little bit?
Maybe so. So we're just going to say this is iced.
Iced tea?
What do you got?
No sugar? The Scribbler Anthology of Contemporary Short Fiction. Short reads, you were able to delve completely into each of them, and there are some really, really good stories in here. One I would like to do for the channel sometime, Communist by Richard Ford.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Fair enough. I have actually won this from Writer's Journal, I think. Some magazine.
Okay.
Shows you how much I read afterwards. This is The Curiosities of Literature. Feast for book lovers. This is just short little snippet stories about interesting things in the world of literature.
Okay.
So I figured what's more brief and enjoyable to just sit back and get a quick story about something.
In that regard, then I might have to trade it in for the Hemingway.
Look at that.
Where I got this from a booze inhaling, animal slaughtering, war glorifying, hairy chested, retrosexual legend.
Yes. Yes, you did. I found that on a shelf and I read it. I'm like, I'll get that for Adrian. I'm gonna need that. Anyway, that is our tea tag. Because we are sophisticated tea-drinking men now.
If you find us delightful, hit the like and subscribe buttons.
Should we tag people? I believe that's a necessity of a tag. The restricted section, I think, deserves a tag.
You're not allowed to spike the tea.
No.
Guys.
Let's put down the beer and have a refreshing glass of tea.
Of tea. Indubitably.
I'm disappointed because I have a shelf at home that's nothing but tea. I'm making fun of myself at this point.
Damn it, Dalton.
Anybody else you'd like to tag, or would that be sufficient, you think?
Here's the thing. I tried looking through videos to find tea tags to see who has and hasn't done it.
Everybody's done it.
Yeah, a lot of people have done it, and that made me so nervous when I didn't find one that maybe I just overlooked it. I was putting the benefit of the doubt on them, not myself, right? So, I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, let's call out the restricted section on this. They're newer booktubers.
They're new enough that we're pretty sure they haven't done this.
So if you haven't checked them out, give them a look. It's Beer and Books. How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
They're a duo as well.
How
can you go wrong?
they're not Adrian and Dalton. But who is?
Oh, we plugged ourselves in our own tag.
We're drunk on green tea by now, so...
it turns out we actually just steeped vodka in leaves. This is what
Gin.
we got.
Why would you make anything with vodka?
Gin. There you go.
Why would you make anything with vodka?
You do have a point. Anyway, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Vodka?